Hey, what's up guys? So I believe that this will be the last video of the entire course. So we've made it through. Um, and this video will actually have to do a lot with what the project will be on, the final project. So this is a good lesson to pay attention. Well, all lessons are a good lesson to pay attention, but specifically about our project. So this is what yeah, our project's going to be about. So we're going to be talking about how to make solids on a when we are given a 2D image. How to produce um, a 3D object with a 2D image. Okay, so we do this by using revolutions. So a solid. Let's define first what a solid revolution is. So that's what we're going to be talking about. So a solid, a revolution is a three-dimensional figure that is formed by rotating a two-dimensional shape around an axis. Okay, and we usually call that the axis of revolution, where we rotate it around. Okay, so you can see that in here you can see the process of how we do this. So we have our axis of revolution right here. Okay, so with this axis, we also have on the axis or near the axis, we have a two-dimensional shape. We have this rectangle. Now this rectangle, if we rotate it about the axis in either direction, what it does is it creates a solid. So we're rotating it this way right here, you can see that's partially created, and if we make a full rotation or a revolution around, so 360 degrees, you can see that we create a cylinder. Okay, and so that's what we're looking to do in this lesson. What 3D shapes can we make with 2D objects revolving around a axis? Okay, so in this first example it says sketch and describe the solids of revolution. So sketch the solid produced by rotating the figure about the given axis and identify and describe the solid. So we're going to rotate this shape about this axis right here. So what would that look like if we did that? So if I have my axis right here, okay, now if it's like a rectangle, it's just going to be pretty much what we just saw before, right? But if we rotate it about, then we should expect again to get a cylinder. Okay. And there you go. So that's what that one would look like. It should be just a cylinder, and the cylinder will have a height of 9 units, so the length of 9, right? Height of 9, and a radius of 4. So when it says to describe, that's what it's looking for. So describe like the units of it specifically. For this one, so again, let's imagine what happens when we revolve this around this axis right here. So this edge will have to swing out. Okay, and it's going to have to be equidistant, so it's going to be make a circle for this base right here, right? Not exactly the best circle, but I mean, we're not looking for perfection. Okay, so right there, that's the shape it's going to make. but it's also going to come down right here. Okay, and so this shape is going to be a cone. Okay, just like that. That one should make a cone with a height of 5 units and a radius of 2 units. So we got a cone here and a cylinder here. Let's try a couple more. So for this one right here, again we have this rectangle. If it's going to be a rectangle, it's kind of repetitive because we've been doing this. It's pretty much just going to make a cylinder, right? This should be a pretty large cylinder whenever we make this one right here. Okay. But yeah, it should make a cylinder. For number 2, right here, if we revolve this around the axis, it should make a sphere. So you're still going to have this shape. It should be pretty symmetrical, right? But yeah, I don't really... It's kind of difficult. I don't know. It's kind of hard to draw a sphere on a 2D image, right? Hopefully that gives you a good idea of what it would look like. Okay, so we obtain a sphere like that. For 3, so this one might be looking a little bit different, but just try and imagine what it would be like rotating it. So this line would make a circle like this. It would have to, because this line would have to go around in a circle like that. Same with this one, it would also have to go around in a circle. Okay, and this line right there to there. Okay, so that's generally the shape that it should make. So it's kind of like a cone, but the top's cut off right there. So bottom section of a cone. For number 4, notice that number 4 and 3, these are the same shapes, but the axis of revolution is actually vertical this time. So when we rotate it, it should still have the same length. In fact, I'm just going to draw a length like this, right there. Like that. Okay, so it should make kind of like a cone. So this top part, the top part would be a cone, and the bottom part would be a cylinder. Okay, so it should look something like this. Okay. Yep. It's an okay image. Alright. So hopefully we get an idea of what these shapes are looking like. So example 2 right here, it says, most vases are solids of revolution. Sketch a 2-dimensional shape and an axis of revolution that form the vase shown. So can we create a 2D image with an axis of revolution that would produce this shape? Okay, so I'm going to draw this with a vertical axis of revolution, because if I draw a vertical line, you can see that it's actually 2-dimensional. So I think I might cheat just a little bit here. I know if you guys want to, I'm not sure how well you guys can do this, but I'm just going to trace an outline right here. Okay, so an outline like this, right there. Okay, so this shape right here, if I rotate it about 360 degrees, about this axis of revolution, that's how I can produce this vase right here. Alright, so let's try a couple of these ones. Now, this baseball shouldn't be really too hard. But again, I think it's a good strategy just to kind of go through. So I would draw a axis of revolution where you can make it symmetrical. In this case, honestly, you could have done it either way, like this or like that. And then draw the outline, and that should pretty much give you what the object should be on an axis. Okay. Now this one might be a little bit more trickier, but I would still try and do the same thing. So draw a line where it's symmetrical. So drawing a horizontal line might work, but I would actually just draw a vertical line here. Okay. Now again, this one's really kind of tricky. So this is probably like a bagel, right? Notice that it has a gap in the center, so nothing can be drawn right there. So I'm gonna like draw like a red circle to kind of mark that off. We can't have anything drawn right there. But the shape of this bagel probably looks something like this, where it's flat on top, right? And the bottom part is rounded. Okay? So that's probably what I would look like. So you can see that whenever we rotate this 360 degrees around, that's how we get this bagel shape right there. So if we remove this, see how different it might look. So it doesn't touch the axis. Yeah. So that's how a bagel would look. Go ahead and try 7 and 8. Those ones shouldn't be too difficult right there. Okay. Now, this is specifically kind of what your project is going to be like right here. So in this problem it says sketch and describe the solid that is produced when the region is enclosed by y equals 0, y equals x, and x equals 5 rotated about the y-axis. Okay, so let's go ahead and figure this out right here. So I'm going to make my axes. Okay, like that. And I'm going to produce these lines right here. So I'm going to produce the lines on the function y equals 0, on the graph y equals 0, y equals x, and x equals 5. So y equals 0, that's going to be right here. So that's where this will be. That's the line y equals 0. Okay, and then y equals x, well, we know that's just going to be a vertical line, but that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then for x equals 5, so this is 5 on the x-axis, so this right here will be the line x equals 5. And then again for the line y equals x, that's just going to be a sloped line like so. Okay, so this is line y equals x. Now, right here is the region that is bounded. This is a bounded region, like right there. So you see how these three lines make this region. And so what we're going to do is we're going to rotate it about the y-axis, which is right here, and we're going to see what it might look like. Okay, so let's first reflect it over the axis. Okay, so again, I probably won't. I don't think I want to bother drawing. I probably should. So if we draw our axis again, right there. And right there. So let's draw this region on both sides. Okay, so we know it goes up right there, down, and right here. And if we reflect it across the y-axis, similarly, it's just going to be symmetrical. So that's what's going to look like if we were just looking at it from the side right there. Okay. Now, if you want to just connect, keep going, just see what it would look like whenever you revolve it, okay? So I'll go ahead and keep doing a process of what the revolution would look like step by step. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna make a dotted line back up here, there, right here. So trying to get a sketch of what the 3D image would look like at this point right here. Okay, so I know that it's gonna curve around like this and down like this. Also like this. Okay, so I'm gonna make an outline of what I have. And this image right here, you can see that it's going to kind of be hollowed out on the inside right there. So it's a little bit hollowed out in the middle part. So it's like the middle part is like a cone, but it's like that's what it needs to be replaced with. So but yeah, I think that's all I really need to show. But yeah, that should pretty much be it right there. That's what this would look like. Okay. But yeah, so for your project, what you're aiming to do for your project is that you're going to do something similar, where you're going to make an object. Okay, first by making using functions like these. So you can make functions like these that make a bounded region about an axis or in a region, and then you're going to revolve that that 2D image about an axis to produce a 3D image. And so that's what your project's going to be about. So you can brainstorm and think about what type of an object that you want to create. Try not to make it too complicated, but also not too simple at the same time. But so that's what we're going to work on for Friday and on Tuesday. Okay, and that will finish off the year pretty much. So that does it, and thanks for all of you for a great year. Thanks, guys.